everyone, I finally found some osso bucco or veal shanks in my butcher, and I got a chance to braise them. This is usually a pricey dish you can find at some high-end restaurants, so I always wanted to see if I can replicate it. My grandma also told me we had some oxtail left over, so I added them in as well, and I always found it kind of weird how oxtails and veal shanks look like big and small versions of each other. Before we start, I want to say how some of my viewers still aren't subscribed, so if you've been enjoying my cooking content, leave a like and subscribe. It does help me out a bit. To get started, this is an optional but nice extra step I like to take for big cuts of meats to braise. I like to salt them for around 30 minutes to 1 hour so it will season the meat internally as well. Now, osso bucco is a veal shank and it's a tough cut of meat, which is why we usually braise it. That bone that connects the meat has some marrow in it as well, which is basically beef butter, so look forward to using that after it's done braising. Now I'm going to cut up my aromatics. I had some leftover shallots I wanted to use, so I added in 4 small shallots. I was going to buy some celery as well, but usually I don't use celery that often besides for mirepoix, so I opted to just use some onions and carrots instead. Chop up 2 onions into slices, and also dice up 1 big carrot. I didn't go that crazy with sizes or shapes since I'll eventually blend to make a gravy in the end anyway. Our last aromatic is garlic, and all you really have to do is mince it like you normally do. Nothing really special to it. Now before we start searing our meat, I like to dab off some of the excess moisture as it'll make it harder to sear later on. Time to start the first process for braising meat, the sear. I got my Dutch oven nice and hot and then added some oil and start searing the meat. You should hear this sound, and if you don't, take the meat out and heat up your pan some more. The reason we sear the meat is that we know that browning the exterior gives us extra flavor. If you ever had a steak, you should know that browning it is the reason why it tastes so good, and the same concept is applied here. When the meat has browned a decent amount, it's time to flip it and brown the other side. I'll also crack some fresh black pepper on the seared side as well. I feel like if I apply black pepper too early while I'm browning the meat, it can burn the fond easier, so I delayed the black pepper until I flip the meat. After browning our meat, we can take everything out and reserve it to the side. We will now begin to cook our aromatics, which is usually the next step in our braise. I add in the onions, shallots, and carrots first with a pinch of salt. We don't want to add the garlic too early as it can burn. The water in the vegetables will begin to sweat with the salt and deglaze the pan a bit, and these aromatics will give the braising liquid a nice flavor and aroma while the meat is cooking. While the vegetables are cooking, we can preheat our oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. When the onions are nice and translucent, we can add in our garlic and cook it for a bit, around 1 minute I would say. The next step for braising is deglazing our pot. We're going to use around 1/3 cup of red wine. And remember to scrape down all the fond as that is all flavor. And we're going to cook this wine for a couple minutes to get rid of the alcohol taste. When the alcohol has been cooked off, we can finally put in back our veal shanks and any leftover juices that have accumulated. I also add in a bit of water mixed with unflavored gelatin for extra body in the braising liquid since I don't have any homemade stock. Now we're going to add in our chicken stock into the Dutch oven until we cover most of the meat. I'm also going to add in some thyme and bayleaf tied with some strings so I can retrieve it easier later. Cover all this with a lid and then stick it in the oven for 1.5 to 2 hours, which will depend on your own oven. I was going to leave the video like this, but my grandma decided to let me know last minute we had some oxtails, so I decided to do the same steps that I did before, except with some help with my brother.
Yo, this is the man helping me. Helping me. We got with this surprise oxtail out of nowhere. Oh, they call you the searer. Oh, extra fat. Jesus Christ. It's like big and small oxtail. Double oxtail.
Once I finished searing those oxtails, I took my Dutch oven out and placed all the oxtails into the braising liquid. Cover it back with a lid and stick it back in. Fast forward some time, I'm going to check how tender the meat is with a fork. The slow cook time should transform all the collagen in the meat into gelatin, which makes it super tender. If the fork goes through the meat with no issue, it's time to start taking out all the meat and reserving the braising liquid. When we take out all the meat, keep the pot going at a boil so we can start skimming the fat, because there's going to be a lot of it due to the osso bucco. I have this weird 2-chamber ladle that my grandma gave me to help me skim the fat. The easiest way to skim the fat, however, is to actually cool it down and let the fat solidify in the fridge overnight. That's not an option as I was making the dinner tonight. Skim off the majority of fat, but leave some of it in, as we'll make a gravy out of it. Just like in my braised pork shoulder video, we're going to use an immersion blender to emulsify the fat, so we'll make a gravy. If you don't have one, you can just let it boil down a bit so the liquid reduces more and becomes thicker. Let's take a look at our osso bucco. As you can see, they're super tender and the narrow has become gelatin at this point as well. I decided I was going to make some saffron rice last minute and add in the marrow instead of butter to enhance the flavor of the rice. I wasn't sure if this was going to be good. Spoiler alert, it was really good. So I didn't prepare any recipe for it yet, but maybe down the line I will. One final step we have to do is shred our meat and then mix it back into our gravy sauce, and we're done pretty much. Serve this over some mashed potatoes, polenta, or just like I stated before, some rice. I'll share some footage and commentary from me and my brother making the rice as well. Just for your entertainment, I guess.
Jesus. Oh, my heart. Straight to the heart. This is a hearty meal, alright. Can't believe we're eating this after Chung's wedding.
Oh, this one has so much. Oh my god.
Oh god, this is gonna be so heavy.
Just do the other way around.
Do we really need all of them? I guess too late. A little late on that. Oh my god.
No, let's do like that and then we can break it up while it's cooking into the thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we just mix it up.
You don't need to do that. Jesus. Dude, that's mad yellow. Holy shit. Oh, wait, you use chicken stock too, right?
Still, chicken stock doesn't make it that yellow. It's normally not chicken stock that makes it yellow like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, like pushing all the marrow around. It's like marrow mixed rice.
Yeah. Start eating. Oh, it's the man who made the rice, so I don't want to explain it yet, because we never tried it. Yo, how is it?
Right? Very well. It goes very well with the meat. Some good saffron.
Saffron rice. Your boy going back for seconds? Because no one's here yet? Perfect. Early man. Oh, hearty meal right here.
And there you go, it's some braised osso bucco and oxtail, or as I say, double oxtail because I was drunk and it reminded me of a bigger oxtail. I don't know, I'm just rambling right now, but if you get a chance to make this, let me tell you, now I understand why this is expensive in the restaurants. What you're paying for is the time and prep work it takes to braise a dish. If you make it at home, however, you're definitely saving a lot of money, especially if you serve a bunch of friends as well. So give it a shot and let me know what you think in the comments below. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and follow my Instagram at Weekend Cooks. Thanks for the support everyone.